Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hey all, welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast on agriculture. Since the pandemic, Indian agriculture has been going through tough challenges. First, 3 continuous years of La Nina, which brings heavy rains and floods. In 2023-24, El Nino, which resulted in drought in a fourth of the country, affected agricultural production. In particular, wheat, onion, pulses, and oilseeds production was affected. In 2024-25, India had a better year with record production in wheat, rice, and maize. In fact, India is now the world's largest producer of rice. This year, the southwest monsoon has set in early. The India Meteorological Department, or IMD, has predicted above normal rainfall. In these circumstances, how will the country's agriculture turn out to be? To tell us about this year's prospects, we have with us Mr. Chirag Jain, partner and food processing industry leader, Grant Thornton Bharat. Welcome to Business Line State of the Economy podcast on agriculture, Mr. Chirag Jain. How will the 2025-26 year be for Indian agriculture?
So, if you ask that, in terms of opportunities, it's great happening for the country, especially the monsoon. Monsoon has been great. And you'd be happy to know that, we have above normal monsoon, which clearly indicates we have huge potential for the Kharif crops. Kharif is a very important, provides a very important ecosystem for our production, plantation. It contributes somewhere around 60% of the total crops which we produce. While 70% of Indian economy and the rains depends on this particular Kharif season and the normal monsoons, which probably indicated and coming over here. So 70% of the Kharif contributes somewhere around significant portion for our economy, and it really helps almost 14 crore farmers for the country in terms of production and the growth. While if we see the long period average for about 50 years, there are about significant jump which has been noticed in multiple crops. There is a jump which has been noticed in pulses, in oilseeds, in cottons. Paddy also, there is a significant jump which has been noticed in the last 3 years. While paddy contributes about 38% of the total contribution, it also indicates that we have significant storage which is available for the country in terms of overall production. There is a little decline in sugarcane, jute, and cotton in the last 3 years, especially with the fact that we have certain crops where government focus is still less in terms of because of their high water intensive cropping pattern, which is clearly visible in cotton, sugarcane, and jute, which is also a reason our decline has been noticed. Overall, if we see the production potential of these crops have been great, especially for pulses, millets, oilseeds, and paddy, which also contribute a significant portion of about 90% of the total Kharif production in the country. So a positive outlook overall, especially with the monsoon, which is more than normal, above normal we call it. And we are expecting about 105% of the monsoons, which indicates huge production, good availability of water, the productivity might be enhanced, and a positive track for the country.
The IMD has predicted above normal rainfall. The monsoon has set in early. What will be the impact?
When we say above normal monsoon, you may understand that it may go somewhere more than 100%. It would range somewhere around 105% to about 110% of the rainfall range. While the long period average, the LPA suggests, which is a 50-year baseline, which has been carried upon, we are hopeful that we are going to receive 105% to 110% of rainfall, which is going to help in 3 major areas. One is it will enhance the soil moisture. It will also enhance the groundwater discharge, Additionally, it will also provide higher production through higher productivity because there is a significant water which is available, which eventually would lead to enhanced production for most of the crops and will also help in overall price stability for most of the commodity which we consume in the country.
What will be the major switchover of crops by farmers?
In terms of shifting, government has been trying for the shift for last couple of years. This is not the only year, but government has been trying for the shift for about last 1 decade. There is a real thought through in terms of design of the programs. You would be happy to know that they called National Mission on Pulses, they call it National Mission on Oilseeds, which largely aiming to a crop shift from usually paddy to other potential crop of pulses and oilseeds. Considering the pulses and oilseeds are great consumption which is happening in the country, both in-house consumption has been significantly increased for the past couple of decades. Additionally, there is a huge requirement of maize which has come up because of the ethanol industry. Almost more than 100 to 200 units, large, small to large, have come up, which require significant amount of maize. So a huge jump of maize requirement has come up. There is a huge requirement of maize has also come up because of significant high production potential of poultry as well. So basis these potential areas, there is a huge opportunities which has been created towards movement and shifting of crop from maize, from paddy to maize. Additionally, from cotton to maize as well, there is a shift which has been noticed in the central India. Sugarcane, as I said, sugarcane production is on decline. Farmers are also moving in other crops in sugarcane as well. While there is a significant potential of new production which might come up both for pulses and oilseeds, considering the government aiming towards national mission, there is a new national mission which has come up, which also eventually will lead to higher production of oilseeds and pulses. In addition to this, we have also seen a hike. A hike has been introduced in the MSP for millets. So crops which are core cereals, millets, there is a potential of increase in production for them as well, considering the MSP hike which government has announced this year.
So, but the center has lowered the import duty on crude edible oils. It has also come up with a provision to allow duty-free imports of LOPs. What sort of won't these impact the production of oil seeds and pulses?
You need to understand the basis of lowering of duty for edible oil. India imports approximately 70% of the vegetable oil, and which is about 25 million ton every year. And for a basic understanding, the per capita edible oil consumption has increased from 3.2 kg per year in 1960 to about 19.7 kg per year in 2021, a significant jump of almost 7x in the last about the 6 to 7 decades. While we are enhancing our oilseed production to a significant level, considering the national mission which we have launched in the last couple of years, however, we are still not able to achieve the Atmanirbhar Bharat in oilseeds. That's how the lowering of duty is very, very important, considering that there is a huge demand which has come up from the domestic requirement. And the moment if we are not able to reduce that duty, it directly imbalance the whole household expenditure, and that's a major contribution to the inflation as well. So that's a main reason how and why government is intending to lowering the duty, and that's the reason they have reduced the duty oil cut from about 20% to 10%, and effectively the duty has been reduced to about 16.5% versus 27.5% earlier. uh, these are major crops which are currently being imported are palm oil, because palm oil is, most of the hotels, restaurants, cafes, they use palm oil, which is a major contributor of what we import in the country, followed by soybean and sunflower. So the major reason for reduction in oilseeds duty is largely to have a control in the inflation and enough availability of oil for the country, which can be consumed by the households. In terms of yellow peas, yes, before 2017 there was unrestricted imports of yellow peas. However, the duty has been changing, considering that the demand, how the farmers are growing the production, as well as what demand is coming. Pulses is also another key crop which which has a varied import duty slabs, considering that it's a huge demand, domestic production, and the demand which is coming up in the country for last couple of years.
What are the upside and downside risks to Indian agriculture this year?
See, upside, first of all, I would like to talk about, especially, I think government has some basic things getting right. We are now talking about scale. We are talking about clusters, be it, horticulture, be it cereals, be it pulses, oilseeds. The government has a focus about clusters. You would be happy to know that they have allocated about 3,000 crore for vegetable clusters in the country, horticulture cluster largely, to really ensure that tomato, onion, potato, and some of those crops have enough production in place. The private sector investment comes up. Second positive thing is the effort towards technology, be it AgriStack, Farmer ID, and some of those initiatives are very powerful. The role of AI and significant investments are getting into it. Would definitely create a better ecosystem for the country and better advantage for our farmers also to take quick decision in terms of potential to produce, sale, logistics support, and so on and so forth. The low side, I would say, we are still not able to address some basic challenges and the problem of farming ecosystem, which is how to sell, when to sell, how we can get the better price for our crops. This is still a challenge. Infrastructure gap from farm to fork is still a challenge. We are not able to really have enough infrastructure across the districts, villages, blocks, which farmer can use. We still have certain challenges in terms of coordination among various ecosystem players. Even though there is things which are available, however, farmers and farming ecosystem is not able to leverage because of the uneven ecosystem players and the coordination, lack of coordination among them. So these are some of the areas which government needs to really work upon, and I'm sure in next couple of years we are in the right track to address some of these challenges.
What do you think the government has to do to come out with policies to encourage Indian agriculture?
Now I think this is the time when government has to plan something which is more private sector driven, because at one point of time when the production was less, government has to really support through MSPs. And now most of the farmers, they know that what they wanted to grow up. However, they are not able to grow those crops because they have not enough ecosystem support which is available, market support which is available. But government now should think over how they can reduce or take away the MSP piece from paddy, especially, and in wheat. That's the reason most of the farmers are still growing these crops, but there are potential advantages in other crops as well. Farmers are not able to move to other crops just because there is MSP available, which is for these crops. And for example, horticulture ecosystem has huge potential. They are the horticulture crop, the farmer, those who are growing those crops, they are usually lakpati, while the net income from cereal crops usually ranges from about 60 to 70,000. However, net income from horticulture can range about 1.5 lakh to about 2 lakhs. So that's the potential of easily about 2 to 3 times jump in the net income. However, MSP is not able to really help farmer to go beyond whatever they have been doing for the last so many decades. Now government needs to really look upon the private sector investments into the sector. There are certain areas where they've already invested, but this is a time where whole ecosystem has to grow as per the market dynamics, and government may forego the MSPPs slowly and slowly. That's the area which can really help our farmers to grow and produce what the market requirements are, grow as per the market. Thank you.
One final question. How will the rural economy shape up this year?
I think rural economy is the driving factor for the country. Most of the produce and the large FMCG companies are looking forward for rural consumption pattern, be it FMC companies towards home side, towards snack side, or towards the household expenditure activities, which is towards soaps, oils, anything which you talk about from a pack of about 10 rupee to about 100 rupee. Everyone is moving towards rural consumption. Rural consumption has been growing significantly higher, almost in a double digit growth compared to the urban growth, which clearly indicate huge rural expenditure has been coming up. And you also need to understand how this is coming up. This is all some of the initiative which has come about 6 7 years back by the government. For example, the PM Kisan program, which easily support about 6,000 support to the farming ecosystem. Each farmer is getting 6,000 additional income for their family. Additionally, there was a program which was launched by our honorable prime minister at that point of time, was PM Jandan Yojana, where each household has to have a bank account, which also help them. Those bank account are really helping, that significant reserves savings are there in those bank account, which really help rural consumption to take place. Then we have programs which are helping small. PMFME program are there, which is towards micro enterprises, helping them to take loan, small loan to large loans, so which are also helping. All these areas are driving the rural consumption pattern, and which, because of these driving factor of rural consumption, there is a significant demand which has been increasing, and most of the FMCG companies are moving towards these households to really drive some of their initiative. And maybe, if you are aware, the whole initiative at rural households, there are campaigns which are running out to rural households, just to ensure that each potential opportunity can be captured by the private sector and by these companies. Kumbh is another example. Huge demand has been initiated, almost significant crores of devotees, those who have reached to Kumbh. Most, I would say, almost all the companies in the country have really leveraged the Kumbh initiative, which happened early this year, and created a huge demand for our own country as well, which is a domestic rural demand. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your insightful views. I hope our listeners would have benefited from this.
Thank you, Mr. Subramani. Thank you, Business Line.